All right, good morning, everyone. Starting off a little late. I apologize for that. Um, and I got my division leader ensemble on today. Kind of weird, but I thought, why not? All right. Starting night off last night was the Binghamton Black Bears playing against the Elmira River Sharks. A tough 5-3 victory. This was not an easy game for either team. Both teams played well in stints. There were a couple little stints where it seemed like they kind of fell back and got lost a little bit, but then recovered. Game started off. Connor McAnanima in goal for the Binghamton Black Bears and Samuel Bernard in goal for Elmira. Austin Thompson scores first at 9:21 of the first power play. Very nice play. And then Elmira responds and big time in a span of about 3:15. Dominic Dumas scores. David Gaeta scores. Stephen Klink scores. And Binghamton is left flat on their heels going, what just happened? Elmira is firmly in control. They controlled the rest of the first period. And it looked like it might be a long night for the Binghamton Black Bears. But they found a way of coming back, made the adjustments for the second period, and responded. Austin Thompson, great solo effort to just will a goal. At 7:47, that's his second goal of the night. Josh Fletcher scores on the breakaway. And late in the period, Dakota Bond scores from the point. And suddenly Binghamton is back up 4-3. And this was kind of back and forth. We get to the third, neither team can get a puck past the goaltender, and it's looking like it's going to be a real battle. And then Binghamton starts going through the, hey, let's commit dumb penalties phase, and gives Elmira every opportunity in the world to tie things up. Connor McAnanima stands tall in goal, and Elmira just can't get that game-tying goal in. Finally, 19:03, Daniel Stone scores into an empty net on a half-court shot. And that's it. It's 5-3 Binghamton. Both teams, they went through small periods of time where they just kind of went, what happened, and then the rest of the game they played great. This was a good game. This was a well-played game. So Austin Thompson, 2 goals and an assist. Dakota Bond with a game-winning goal. And Connor McAnanima saves 25 of the night. Stephen Klink, a goal and an assist. And Darius Davidson also set up 2. So nice. And Sammy Bernard stopped 41, and many of the saves he made were great saves. So Binghamton improves to 29-6-6. Elmira 17-27-0. Good crowd, 1,700 on hand. All right. In Port Huron, the Blue Ridge Bobcats, this was one of the few times this year, maybe the only time really, where they just were dominated. They started off the game great, and then just Port Huron just controlled the rest of the game. 6-2 win by the Prowlers. Nikita Vashkum scored the first goal for the Bobcats, and then it was all Port Huron. We had in the second goals by Connor Foley, and then Evan Foley about 6 minutes later. And in the third, it was Dan Chartrand scoring. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention in the second period, actually, the first goal was Liam Freeborn. That was at 4:49. Read the wrong line there. So Chartrand scores shorthanded at 39 seconds in the third. Tristan Sim scores at 3:04. Dalton Young scores 28 seconds later. It's 6-1. The game's pretty much wrapped up. Blue Ridge plays with dignity, though. They get a goal from Daniel Martin at 17:09. It's 6-2 final. Goals by Ivashkin and Martin for the Bobcats. Chartrand, a goal and 2 assists. And a couple players with 2 assists, including Tucker Scantleberry for the Prowlers. The offense looked pretty good last night. Owen Liskovitz, 27 saves on the night, while Tucker Tynan, back from the IR, saves 38 of 40. And so, Blue Ridge falling to 12, 25, and 6. Port Huron improves to 21, 15, and 6. 1,196 on hand. Unfortunately, it looks like Blue Ridge is starting to run out of time to catch Mississippi. There is now a pretty big gap in between the Blue 20 points. So we'll see how that plays out. But Port Huron victorious. This was the game of the night, and wow, there was a lot of intensity with this game. Not many penalties, but a lot of intensity. This was playoff hockey in early March, and it came down to the wire. So, Carolina starting Cody Karpinski. I'm still a little surprised as far as why we haven't seen Mario back. Maybe he has a bit of a nagging injury. I'm not sure. But anyway, Brendan Colgan takes the net for Columbus. And it's a Thunderbird scoring first. This is Jacob Schnapp scoring a 5:35. And then Yuri Pastuka doubles the pleasure, doubles the fun at 14:47. And then we had a brief goal barrage. We had a 16:22 Josh Pietrantonio scoring for the River Dragons. Ryan Hunter scores at 19:33, and then at 19:56, just before the end of the period, John Butita scores. So Carolina reclaims the lead going into the second. Shots were 13 aside in the first. In the second, it was the Josh McDonald show, and he continued to show how he's probably the best player independently in the league. He scores at 11:01 of the second, and then at 3:42 of the third, and that gives the River Dragons a lead for a time. But Dawson Baker, he responds 4:47, so it's 4-4. The teams go back and forth. There's a lot of energy, a lot of big saves, a lot of posts hit. I think I counted Columbus hit the post or the crossbar 3 times, and Carolina a couple times in the last 15 minutes. So we go to overtime, and finally, Carolina kind of breaks down in their zone, and Kirk Underwood on just coming off the bench, he scores at 1:46, and that gives Columbus the 5-4 overtime win. Quite a celebration, and quite a bit of disgust from Dawson Baker on that last play too. But anyway, 3,400 on hand to see. Really great game. Carolina played well, but they fall to 29, 11, and 2, while Columbus now 35, 4, and 3. And it's time for me to start figuring out the magic number once again for Columbus for clinching the division. So J-Mac, 2 goals and an assist. Goal by Butita, goal by Baker. Karpinski, he didn't play poorly. He's just, that constant pressure from the River Dragons. Save 34. Colgan, 23 saves on the night, just enough, and he is the first goaltender in the league to 19 wins. So, other notable happening in this game, Josh Keplinger was given a game misconduct for a check from behind / charging, is what they called it. So he may be facing some disciplinary action for that. All right, so we will see. All right, Motor City. They are inching closer and closer to the playoffs. Their magic number is now down to 6, playing the team that they are most immediately trying to eliminate, the Watertown Wolves. So Watertown desperately needs wins, and it wasn't going to come last night. TJ Sneath started off the scoring 14-31 for the Rockers, beating Spencer Kozlowski. Meanwhile, a little surprised that Rico Gonzalez got the start, but he played well. Gordy Brown made a good call. Second period, 23 seconds in, it's Josh Colton. It's 2-0. Tate Leeson does score shorthanded to get Watertown into it. Now 2-1. But minute 10 after that, it's Danny Vanderweel, the captain, scoring on the power play with what would be the game-winning goal. And Motor City just controlled the second period, outshot Watertown 18-12. Later on, 15-29, it's Declan Conway getting on the board. He would have a goal and an assist. In the third early, it's newcomer Garrett Lindbergh, who was just traded from the Blue Ridge Bobcats earlier in the day. He gets on the board for the Wolves. It's 4-2, but that was it. Nothing else happened really the rest of the game. Watertown did get 13 shots on goal in that final period, but Gonzalez, he held his own and holds the fort down, and Motor City gets the win, 4-2. 2 assists from Mercurio. He's turning into quite a good setup man for the Wolves. Kozlowski did save 34 out of 38 in 57:09 on ice time. Gonzalez, 35 saves on the night. That's all he needed to make. And there you go. 4-2 win. Watertown now 13-25-5. Motor City 26-14-4. The magic number is 6. So if Motor City wins the rematch tonight in regulation, that's 3 points gained by Motor City, 3 points lost by Watertown. Motor City clinches themselves a playoff berth. So we'll see what happens. Finally, the late game, it was late 8:05 on Eastern Standard Time. Hey, whatever. Baton Rouge travels to Mississippi. Mississippi, fresh off of their overtime win over Columbus on Thursday night, and they do it again. They do just enough. This game was not really dynamic in any way. It seemed kind of ordinary, but Mississippi did a good job. They played solid fundamental hockey. Baton Rouge just not enough in the tank to catch up once Mississippi started getting a couple pucks behind Bailey Stevens. There you go. So Philip Wong, he's become the hot hand for the Mississippi SeaWolves. He scores the first goal in the first period. That was just a minute 7 in, but then Stevens settles down. Matt Bazarin ties the game up halfway through the first. And a very nice play. And nothing in the second. So we go to the third. It's 1-1. And Mississippi just systematically, quietly goes about their business. Scores at 6:02. Tyson Lambert. He doesn't get his name mentioned all that much. But yeah, Lambert scores. And then 12:51, Justin Barr seals the deal for the Mississippi SeaWolves, wearing their Irish green, really nice looking uniforms. They end up winning, crowd of 2,900 on hand, and so Mississippi is a 3-1 victor. Baton Rouge 10-27-4 now, it's kind of getting to the end. But Mississippi hangs tough. They gain a couple more points in their lead over Baton Rouge in the standings. They're now 20-21-3 in that fourth spot. Both teams, 33 shots on goal. All right, so there we go. We will see tonight if Motor City can indeed clinch that playoff spot. I did pretty good on my predictions. I thought Carolina was going to pull out a win. Nope. Columbus won, so I was 4-1 for the night, 12-7 so far for the month. Yeah, pat on the back. All right. Thanks for watching, and tune in tomorrow. Let's see what happens tonight.